In last week's video, we were looking at new construction and why you should be using a real estate agent if you are looking to buy a new build. We are going to continue on that theme this week and look at 7 ways to get the best deal in a new construction zone. 3, 2, 1, let's go. What's up guys, Lewi Gault here, welcome to the channel. As always, we are dropping weekly videos about real estate in Denver and also how to scale your business if you are a real estate agent. This week we are continuing on the themes of new builds. Last week we were talking about why it's so important to use a real estate agent in a new build transaction and the things that they can help you with along the way. Since that video dropped, one of my clients reached out to me. We were looking at single family homes for her, and now she wants to actually look at new builds because she saw the video and was thinking more about that. So I decided to continue on this path and look at the 7 ways that we can find the best deals for new construction. Because you might think every single new construction that's popping up is the same, but there's a lot of different ways to actually get in and get the best deal for you. So let's dig in. So the first one is agent interest lists. Now, what does this mean? Typically, if you're looking for new construction, you can go on the builder's website and kind of get some information about what's happening right now, what they have in construction, what they're going to be finishing soon, and that kind of stuff. As a real estate agent, we have access to lists of what's coming in the future. So huge developments, different parts of town that are going to start developing all of a sudden. So we have access and kind of the keys to the kingdom of what's coming up and when it's coming. So having a real estate agent on your side means that you can get information on what's coming before it hits that website, before you're going to know about it. So make sure that they are getting on top of their agent interest lists. And that brings us on to our second point, which is the early bird gets the worm, of course. Now, builders are incentivized to sell as much as they can upfront and quickly, and it's just a profit and loss scenario. If you have a budget and you're building out construction and stuff, you need capital coming in to keep that construction going. So typically with developers and builders, you're looking to sell 50 units, 50% or whatever it is before things get finished, but maybe even before it breaks ground, to make sure that you have those profits coming in. And the way that they typically sell those is to offer incentives like crazy. So if you can find new development before it breaks ground or as it's breaking ground, typically you're going to find way more incentives than if you come over and everything's constructed already, because they want to get those units sold for 2 reasons. 1, to keep their profit margin going, and 2, to create demand in the community. If you go into a new build area and you see that 3/4 of them are sold out already, oh, this must be a cool place, it must be worth something. So there's a lot of things that the builders want to incentivize you with, and if you get in super early, you're going to get way more of that stuff, which could lead to tens of thousands of dollars in incentives. And that moves us into the incentives and closing costs and all that stuff. This is our next thing we want to look at. Now, they might be offering that to you, saying, okay, we're going to provide this, we're going to provide that, a warranty here, we're going to provide all the appliances, some closing costs will be taken out, and these all sound great. The problem is, if you leave and come back next week, they might all be gone, because if they've sold 10 units they had to sell in time, then that offer is no longer on the table. So you want to make sure that when you get in there, what they're telling you for incentives is what you're actually going to get, and an agent will help you lock that down into place, get it in writing, different things like that. So if they're saying, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this, you want to be like, okay, when is this offer valid till? It's not just until they sell out. You got to give me a week, or you got to give me 2 weeks, or whatever that is. So incentives can be negotiated with the builders. You just have to know how to talk to them. Okay, the next one is managing the upgrades. And we kind of talked about this last week, so I won't go too much into this, but it is a huge one where you can save money. You don't have to do all the fancy upgrades that the builder is looking at. If you go into the showroom and see them on field and touch the quality of what those builds are, then you can make decisions. But most of the time, the markup in the new build construction for upgrades is insane. But when it comes to things like backsplash, crown molding, fence, light fixtures, things like that, you really are best getting a third-party vendor coming in afterwards to upgrade all that. So just go for the super basic for sure. Okay, the next one is timing. Now, we already talked about getting in before everything comes up, pre-construction, getting all the great deals, but there's also something to be said for the end. So after a whole place is constructed, there's usually leftover inventory that the builders want to get rid of. And a great time to look at these is at the end of the year. It's the start of the year right now, I understand that, but same thing, like in the winter season, that's kind of a great time to look because builders want to get rid of what they've got left so they can start their new project. And because they're looking to get rid of them, sometimes you can sweeten the deal and get a discount and get price off and get a lot of different things just so they can sell out. All the developer wants to do is sell out so they can take the profit and move to the next one. So there is something to be said for waiting, letting a place be constructed and then jump in at the end and sneak on those deals. Which brings us into what we would call the leftovers. So leftovers is kind of like those houses that are left for some reason they just didn't sell. Maybe it's a smaller lot, maybe the finishes aren't as good as some of the other ones, maybe it's on a busy street. There could be a few different options and a few different reasons why it didn't sell out. And we would typically call these leftover lots. And there's nothing wrong with them, they just didn't sell. So there's a deal to be had there. And the builder knows that. The builder knows there's always going to be a few that aren't as nice as, you know, the showroom or wherever it was up there. So if you can get in, if you don't mind being on a busy street, or if you don't mind having a smaller yard or a smaller lot or whatever that looks like, then there is a deal to be done. In other words, the builder might be incentivized to reduce the price or to offer more incentives for you to take it at full price just because they want to get rid of it. Okay, and the last one for today is the title and closing costs. Now, typically, builders work with the title companies that they like to work with, and that's great because they might offer incentives. But you want to make sure you read through the contract and see if there's an option to choose your own title company to close. This could actually save you a lot of money, but it could also not. So make sure you have your agent look into that. If you're using a lender not with the builder, have them look into that as well and see if there's money to be saved with closing costs and title fees. So there we go. That's part 2 of new builds. We're probably going to do another one just to wrap up this whole thing. But new builds really are a great option, especially right now around the country, especially in Denver where inventory is so low. We have seen some great new construction come up in Denver and it's well worth checking out. So if you want to be in the know of some of the new places that are coming, let me know and I can send you some info for that. All right, I hope you guys are well and I will see you next week with another video. If you haven't done already, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell and all that stuff. You'll be notified when videos come out and I will see you soon. Take care, bye.